I'm Rada Gigi Benitez, a certified international property specialist and a licensed realtor, connecting global real estate investors with the incredibly lucrative opportunities of Dubai real estate. And today, I have a guest of which you continuously ask me questions about, property investment visas, and I have a specialist in the house today to help answer your questions. Stay tuned. Please welcome Charlie Maggi to our show today. Charlie, please introduce yourself and the company that you head up.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
So I am Charlie. I'm the founder of the open world Residencies and Citizenships. And basically, we help clients to access to second residency, permanent residency, second citizenship through investment, donation. I myself am French, but I'm a mix myself. So I grew up between two different cultures, Italian on my dad's side, Moroccan, French on my mom's side.
What a beautiful mix.
Thank you.
Wow.
I lived in the US for some time. I studied in Miami, and then I lived in China for 10 years, and eventually Portugal, and eventually here. So I'm really used to, dealing with different kind of people with different kind of background, which is why I guess I'm so comfortable in my industry.
Love it. And are you enjoying Dubai?
Yeah, so far so good.
Well, I have a question for you, Charlie. Coming from America myself, born, raised, educated there, but being a first-generation Arab American, are you finding it's still the American dream because you have numbers, or is it the Dubai dream or the European dream?
Well, based on the numbers and how many Americans are trying now to get a citizenship or residency from outside of the US, I would say that the American dream is not the big thing anymore. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist anymore, but it's definitely, I think the economy itself is probably easier to achieve big things when the economy is growing, which is the case here
in Dubai,
and when the economy is a little bit more shrinking and stable, like it's the case in Europe or in the US. So I would believe more into the Middle East dream.
Yes, the Dubai dream.
The Dubai dream.
Come to Dubai, Habibi. Actually, but you know what? That draws me something because I myself this summer went and explored Spain. I've always had this vision in my head of living that European lifestyle. And I know that a lot of Americans are seeking that investment visa in Spain, which I think you can update us on the latest,
yes,
and Portugal and other European. But you were talking about the economy. So why are we seeing such an uptick of Americans wanting that European visa if the economy is so tough in, let's say, Spain?
Right, because investors coming from the US, they already have the money, and they are not moving to Europe for business purpose. They're really moving to the US to Europe for a few reasons. First of all, safety. I think we've seen a lot of people coming from California, San Francisco, who are probably tired of paying an expensive rent, paying a lot of taxes, and at the end of the day, living in a pretty unsafe environment. There is taxes reason. There is also, I think, a feeling of living in a kind of unstable country where you have a lot of people, it's very divided in a way. I'm not saying that Europe is not, but I think US would be very the top first country in terms of how divided the country is. And so, at the end of the day, it's like you invest in a country. So it's an investment. You are not giving your money away. You invest in a country. And on the top of that, you're like, oh, I can get the residency. And in some cases, even the citizenship. You're like, why not? It's a backup option. So I think that's the main reason.
Yeah, and you're right. And actually, you stated it so beautiful. If you're coming to Spain, for example, you're not coming to make money there, which the locals, of course, don't appreciate, but you aren't investing in their economy in the sense of purchasing property.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that does help the overall economy, which some tourists or local residents maybe don't although it does drive the property prices up. So it's like,
yes, but look, at the end of the day, when you look at Portugal, the minimum investment, because they scrapped the real estate golden visa, the golden visa through real estate route
in Portugal.
Now it's only investment in like investment funds.
Oh.
Yeah, but so the main reason was that because there is foreigners investing, but the minimum investment was really $500,000.
Okay.
And it wasn't really affecting the local market because the average salary for local people in Portugal was still pretty low, and so people wouldn't actually buy properties of $500,000. So actually, when they scrapped the real estate route for golden visa and we looked at the number, we realized that the transaction related to golden visa in real estate were less than 2%. So it's not really affecting the market.
Much.
No, it's not that much.
So it's a misconception then.
Correct.
And what about in Spain? Did they scrap that as well in Spain now?
They are planning to next year.
But I heard the numbers weren't that high either.
It's all about politics, really. I think it's just to make people feel that they're doing something.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, look, if you don't increase the salaries and you don't reduce the rent and you don't cap the rents, there's going to be a problem anyway. Spain, I know, but Portugal, I can tell you more if you don't mind.
Yes,
because
please do.
I live there and we have an office there.
Where did you live?
In Lisbon.
Was it beautiful?
It's very nice.
I need to make my way over there still. Okay, tell me about it.
So Lisbon, Portugal, became very, very successful, especially after COVID, for a few different reasons. Not only the golden visa, really, it's because now people could work from home. It's like, why would you stay in Paris or in London or in Stockholm when you can actually move to a better environment? It's sunny, the beach is like 15 minutes from your place. So a lot of foreigners move there, digital nomads and all this, and they had money, so they started to pay higher rent. And of course the landlords were like, oh, we can keep on increasing the rent. So that was one of the main issues.
Okay.
The main issue was not the golden visa, because the golden visa was already here.
So it was the digital nomad visa that was causing the issues.
More, I would say, probably more.
Okay.
Even though, digital nomads, when you actually go to Lisbon, they tend to live on the other side of the bridge in Caparica. Okay. But still, yeah, I would say, I mean, I include myself in the problem, to be honest, because I was in China for 10 years and I left China during the pandemic and I moved to Portugal and I moved to Lisbon, and I'm pretty sure the rent I was paying was like extremely expensive compared to what the rent was 2 years before all the foreigners moved there. So I think this is one of the problems. So they scrapped that, and now in Portugal, by the way, Portugal, now Americans are the top investors in the golden visa in Portugal.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of Californians, a lot of actually people from San Francisco. I think, you've been to Lisbon before?
I haven't, but I heard the climate is comparable.
Very, very similar. You even have a similar bridge, to be honest, like the Golden Bridge. So I think people feel comfortable there. There is a lot of startups. There is the Web Summit happening right now, which is a big exhibition forum for startups and tech. So San Franciscans really like this place.
Yeah, because that's where tech from California, so they're coming there. Okay.
Correct. Even the time zone is 1 hour less than Spain and France, so you're a little bit closer to the US time.
That makes sense.
So
what about the language barrier in Portugal?
Everybody, people really speak good English in Portugal.
Because I found that to be the case as well in Spain, which Malaga in southern Spain also has, I think, Google headquarters, and they're also now considered a startup center in Europe.
Okay.
And everyone speaks English there as well, which is a huge benefit. Yeah. But I know Portugal is your baby, so let's go back to Portugal. Sorry.
No, I'm just explaining why I think Americans are investing there heavily. So now investment in real estate is gone. You have to invest in an investment fund. But actually, I know you do real estate, and real estate investment is great, and it's a great diversification. But fund is also good because you don't have taxes on dividends, and you don't need like a property manager to manage your business and all that. For people looking for real estate, I think Dubai is a great option still to this day. The golden visa is great, 10 years residency. You don't have to live here. You can set up a business, open a bank account. And we have seen Europeans actually 1 month, I forgot which month last year or this year, not this year, French investors were the biggest in golden visa in the UAE for 1 month, because there is a law being discussed right now in the parliament saying that they want to establish like the same thing that for you guys in the States, that as long as we hold the French passport,
you have to pay taxes everywhere.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's going to pass?
No.
Okay, so it's not going to pass.
I hope not.
Because, yeah, you're like, please don't. Imagine that's the position I'm in, but you're not in that position, right? As a U.S. citizen.
No.
So French, and then also, okay, so Portugal, the United States, number one investors, and not through property, but through
Yes, for property,
funds.
for funds, yeah.
And you can help
Yes.
people do that. You
Yes.
set them up, you
Yes.
figure it out for them.
We have a portfolio of different funds, so depending on what you want to invest. Actually, you can even diversify between 10 funds if you want. So some funds going to be like investing in gold and commodities, so pretty safe. Other ones going to be investing in like agricultural land, some otherwise in AI, into AI. So it's really it really depends on what you want to. €500,000.
€500,000.
But you can diversify 50 into different funds.
And then you get
funds.
How long is that visa?
You get the residency. 5 years.
Okay.
You can come and go as much as you want into Portugal, and you can, because when you get a golden visa from a place, it's like here, it's not only about like coming and going, it's also you can take advantage of the health system, education,
driver's license, the bank,
very good universities in Portugal and all that, and also you can travel into Schengen, and after 5 years you get your passport.
That's what I was going to ask you. So if you can go into that a little bit more. So if I get the 5-year from Portugal, am I free then to live anywhere in Europe?
No, you cannot live anywhere in Europe.
Okay.
But you can stay technically 90 days in other countries in Schengen, but again, there is no control, there is no border. I mean,
there's no passport in between, right?
So no one can really say if you've been staying longer. But in any case, you are not supposed to work in other Schengen countries.
Got it.
But
you can in Portugal with that visa.
Yes.
In that country.
If you want to. But keep in mind that the whole concept of golden visa is to get access to a residency without living in the country. That's why you invest into the country. Because if you want to move to Portugal, get a job, pay your taxes, you will get your residency anyway.
Good point.
So I'm really talking about people who want to invest. Yes. We have also access to something that could be potentially interested for Americans too. It's the talent program in Schengen.
Tell me about that.
So you have to have at least a master. But of course, if you have a master's, PhD, you're eligible. 5 years of experience in your field. You have to receive a job offer from any country in the US, and then you get this talent program. And with that, you have a 4-year residency in Schengen. And for this one, you can live and work in any country in Schengen.
Did you say a job offer? Where's the job offer has to be?
Anywhere in Europe.
Anywhere in Europe. Okay, I think you said US. So anywhere in Europe.
Yeah.
And then understood. Okay.
Then back to real estate investments. There are still a few countries in Europe where you can invest in real estate. So there is Greece.
Okay.
Greece is still to this day €250,000 with some conditions.
And are you able to help people?
Yeah. Okay. We have everything in our portfolio.
Greece, where else?
Real estate investment. Well, there is Caribbean, where you actually buy shares into a project for real estate projects, and this is straight citizenship, so you get your passport right away. Malta, it's a donation in Malta. Well, for citizenship, it's a donation, and it's quite expensive.
Okay.
It's like between €700,000 to 1 million. For residency in Malta, it's an investment in real estate, you're right, but it doesn't lead to citizenship.
Gotcha.
It's only a residency.
It's only residency.
Yes.
Thank you. That's, great to know. So we know that Americans are in exponential numbers, record numbers, seeking that second passport. You're saying, Portugal, Americans are the top. I think Spain still, right, is very high on the list as well.
Yeah.
But I know that that's going to stop with regards through investment.
Yeah.
But there are the digital nomad visa, and there are other ways, I guess,
Correct.
right? But then you have to live there. So
there is one of the leading company in the industry is called Henley & Partner.
Yes.
And there was an article a few days ago saying that now Americans are 20% of their clients. And you can imagine that back in the days, it wasn't the case. As a matter of fact, look, it's in a growing industry because each country has its own reason, right?
Correct.
So there was also an article saying that every year there is 200,000 Indians giving up on their citizenship. Wow. So you have like the Middle Easterns for their own reason. You have the CIS countries, so like, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Russia. You have the African countries where some people have money, but the passport is not so strong. So every country has its own reason. But Americans, it's a little bit different. I don't think it's to get a better passport, but again, it's just because they feel probably that for the amount of money they are paying into rent and taxes, it's not worth where they are staying and where they are. And also, I think you know better, but I think a lot of Americans are a little bit skeptical and scared about what's going to happen in the future.
It's like an exit strategy.
Correct.
Canadians, are you finding a lot of Canadians also seeking?
I don't have a lot of Canadian clients.
I do.
Yeah?
I do, especially Canadians here.
Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, Canada, what happened, they have a program too in Canada. It's a startup visa. But Canadians, I know a lot of Canadians are trying to relocate somewhere else, also because of taxes issues, I heard. Look, French, British, there is over 6,000 British millionaires who left the UK this year alone.
The British were the number one buyers in Dubai real estate a few months ago, and they have been increasing. A lot of Europeans, actually.
Yeah.
French, German, Turkish also.
You work with them?
I do.
Very nice.
So then let's segue into my passion, if that's okay. Dubai.
Yeah.
So I have had a couple podcast episodes, and it seems to really resonate well with people that tune into the Dubai Connect podcast that are trying to learn more about investment. So if you may please just clarify the difference between the 2-year and the 5-year visas through investment here in Dubai.
2 years and 10 years, you mean, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Correct. Sorry about that.
So 10 years would be for a property over 2 million dirham. So
which is about 500,000 US dollars.
Correct. Yes. And 2 years would be for property lower than this threshold, this price. And Golden Visa is a great option because, again, if, like me, for example, I register my company here and I get a normal residency, I have to come back every 6 months to keep this residency.
Right.
With the Golden Visa, it's not the case.
So let's sit there for 1 second on that, because some people will say to me, well, I'll just start a company there. I don't need to invest to get the Golden Visa. Right, but then you're going to have to come back and commit to every 6 months coming back, and it's only good for 2 years.
Correct.
Versus
10 years.
10 years and...
Yeah.
Okay.
But 10 years, but again, it's like, so even for the 10 years one, you have real estate and you have like minimum salary of 30,000 dirham, I think.
Not for real estate, if it's an investment. Are you saying an additional?
No, yeah.
Additional,
there's 3 ways, right?
And there's talent as well.
Yeah.
Talent as
and
well.
And there is 4 ways, actually, because there is nomination also.
Yes, correct.
Which is, you don't really know how,
yes.
They just decide that this applicant is nominated. So
correct.
I guess it benefit the country.
Correct.
And then you get your golden visa.
Yeah, because Dubai being the city of the future and really trying to attract residents, not just investors, they really want to bring a diverse pool of talent.
And they are.
And they are.
They are.
I mean, look at you. You're here.
No, I talked to a lot of like young graduates coming from the UK, working in finance, French people. Americans, I feel maybe a little bit less at the moment because it's a little far and it's still the Middle East. So maybe there is some kind of, misconception about the Middle East. But I talked to, again, Europeans, and they are coming here, like a lot of them are coming here because also I think Dubai, what's amazing about Dubai is that it was only mainly a place for tourism before, and now they're really getting bigger in like food industry, manufacturing, finance, real estate and all this. So you have more and more and more jobs being created.
Tech. They have the AI tech campus, the AI campus.
Yeah.
And as you stated, the DIFC, the International Financial Center.
Yeah.
And there are so many initiatives in place, like you said, to attract even the new graduates from all over the world. English is the most commonly spoken language.
Yeah.
And I think it's like 85% of Dubai are expats.
Yeah.
But it's a very harmonious, safe place to live where you really feel like, I mean, you having lived in China for 10 years, having lived in the United States, having lived in Lisbon, Portugal, how do you compare the lifestyle now that you're living in Dubai?
So, it's interesting because being here in Dubai, everybody tells me about how safe it is and how international it is. Frankly speaking, in China, in Shanghai, I was already in a very international bubble. So I was meeting a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. And Shanghai is pretty safe. China overall, Hong Kong is pretty safe. But I would say that the main difference between China and here, it's funny because when I got my residency, I went back to France, and when I came back, the security check, the person checking my passport said, "Welcome back home." And I was like, wow, like, living,
good.
I was like living 10, 12 years in China, speaking the language, learning the language and everything. The cultural difference is so big that you feel comfortable, but you never feel like home. I think
You're
the
a little bit
difference
as an outsider, a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah. But here it's different. I feel like you really feel home really
That's
quick,
profound,
really fast.
actually.
Yeah.
And you do. And it doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what culture you are.
I love that so much.
Right? It doesn't. No one talks about it. There's such misconceptions.
Especially coming from divided societies like ours, right? Like France and US and everything, with everyone is fighting for left and right and this and that. And you come here and just like everyone living together in peace and harmony. It's like, how did they manage to do that?
I have to tell you a little story. So I myself, even though I am Arab American, I fought the idea of coming to the Middle East my whole life.
Okay.
Because I'm more of a progressive, liberal-minded person, and I had my own preconceived notions of what it would be like to come to the Middle East.
Right.
So I fought it until 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And it's because one of my best friends moved here, took advantage of using her education to climb and be very high in her positioning here, and kept saying, stop being ignorant, you need to come.
Yeah.
The second day that I was here, I started crying. And I said, I cannot believe how stubborn I was and how I myself had such a different idea of what Dubai would be like.
Yeah.
But I want to be a part of this.
Yes.
It is the Dubai dream.
Yes.
I want to be part of what's happening here.
Yeah.
And I want to use what I am learning to help go back to America and break the stereotypes and misconceptions that I myself had.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm using real estate as that vehicle.
Very good.
But my purpose is so much greater.
Yeah.
And so having conversations with experts like you to come say, this is how easy it is to be able to secure a visa and come be part of a city of the future, not just investing. Yes, from just a real estate investment perspective, we could, and I do this on many podcasts where we dive into apples to apples comparison about the affordability of getting into the real estate market, about the significantly high capital appreciation, the rental returns, the no property taxes, the safety of your investment. We were talking before the podcast compared to investing in other countries.
Yeah.
But it's so much bigger than that.
It is.
Right? And we're both part of this Dubai dream now.
Yeah, it is. And I think there is a lot of people also probably in the US not feeling extremely comfortable anymore because of what's happening in the environment. And then they come here and they're like, oh, actually, I can have this life of being myself and not being, like for religious purpose or anything.
Doesn't matter.
That's really nice.
You practice your religion. Be who you are, dress how you want.
Yeah.
But I do feel like my kids ask me, aren't you going to get arrested? You can't curse. And I said, but you know what? When you come here, you have to still respect the laws.
Exactly.
You're in a different country.
Actually, I like that too.
Because
I think we lost it. I mean, it's another debate.
100%. 100% agree with you.
I think we lost it a little bit in the West.
Absolutely agree.
The fear of repercussion if we do something that,
and this is the other thing, Charlie, is that nobody wants to get kicked out of Dubai because they're so grateful for the opportunity to live here and be able to work, make money, tax-free, no personal income taxes in Dubai, right? And there's this common feeling amongst everybody I talk to here on the streets. They love their leadership.
Yeah.
They love them because they know that the leadership in Dubai is looking out for their best interest.
Yeah, because you see it. I think that's the main difference. Again, back to some countries where you pay 30, 40, 50% taxes, and you look around you, you're like, where's
it going? You have homeless, for example, and the infrastructure and the streets are
dirty.
Exactly.
And here you see you barely pay taxes, and then on the top of this you have a new highways being built like right in front of your eyes because the traffic is not good enough.
Exactly.
So you're like, okay, there is actually things happening. I think back to why also one of the reasons the industry is doing so well. I think social media really helped, because what you said now maybe back like 15, 20 years ago, you're in the US, someone tell you about Dubai, you're like, Middle East, it's so far, it's probably dangerous and all this.
Well,
now
think about also the media and the narrative that has been painted to us in the United States.
And
Right.
France also, trust
Right.
me. But now you see with the social media, and it's the same reason for anyone, by the way, like you're from a country, you have a little bit of money, and you see that you can get access to a better passport, better residency, you can send your kids to a better school, you can send your parents to a better hospital just by paying a little bit of money. I think it really helped my industry too. But I think overall, we're much more comfortable now to sit on a plane and go to another place because we know pretty much what we can expect from this new place. And I think social media really helped. And Dubai has been really great with social media overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree with you. And I love, so you know what I also love about your offering particularly is that you are very experienced. You're here in Dubai, but because you've also lived in Asia, you lived in Europe, you have offices everywhere. So you're sort of a one-stop shop for anybody that's looking, no matter where they're really looking, right? Is there anywhere that you don't handle?
No, we're really aware of like when a country, because as we just said, the demand is increasing,
right?
But the supply is also increasing. You have new countries opening up new programs because they see how much money can be made. You know, Portugal made between 5 to 7 billion, attracted 5 to 7 billion euros in golden visa in 1 year.
Wow.
So you have countries thinking, okay, maybe I should open up a program. It's just about attracting money, injecting money into the economy, and in exchange of a residency or citizenship. So we are really well aware. I'm not saying that all the programs are good.
Okay.
Some countries try. Not a single investor goes, so they just like scrap the program.
Okay.
But some countries, like there is really successful things happening. So.
What are the top 5 most strongest that you have found to be the most successful ones?
I think the strongest one still to this day, I would say, especially now, it's probably Caribbean islands, the countries, the Caribbean countries, because again, it's a direct access to citizenship. You know, there is sometimes a feeling of how to say, emergency that we don't have because we have a good passport. But keep in mind that some people, if they keep their passport, potentially they can be enrolled to go to a war, or they are like unable to travel and this and that. They don't have time to wait 5 years for citizenship.
Okay.
So
there's sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they would go straight for this Caribbean program.
Okay.
Portugal is doing very well.
Okay.
Greece is doing very well.
Okay.
So.
And then?
NUA is doing Dubai is doing very well. Dubai is doing very well.
Fantastic.
It's increasing, yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, it's amazing.
It's very good.
It is fantastic. So, well, with that, I really thank you for making the time to come onto my podcast and share with my audience, you know, what is going on, what the numbers are, and your offering. And I'm sure they will be reaching out to you. And we'll probably have you back on to talk about more updates in the future. So thank you, Charlie.
And you will come to my podcast too.
And what's the name of your podcast?
From Here to There.
From Here to There. And what's it about?
From Here to There. It's people born and raised in country A that move to country B. So I think you would be a perfect fit.
Absolutely. I'd be honored. So thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Dubai Connect.